Yep. Do a quick check. Check the volume. Sorry. Excellent. Right. And we are live at the NCAA South Regional for D2 softball. Your Tampa Spartans are the hosts at the Nemoli Family Stadium. It's a 1 versus 8 seed matchup between the number 1 nationally ranked Tampa Spartans and the Tuskegee Golden Tigers. The Spartans are looking for some revenge after a regional defeat last season and were able to respond with the best season in program history. They enter on a 5-game winning streak, a 40-3 regular season record with 22-1 as the team's home record for the 2023 campaign. Tuskegee has made the tournament again, and they also had a pretty solid season. They went 25-19, 15-4 in conference play, although they entered the tournament with a 1-game losing streak. They took a loss in the SIAC Softball Championship tournament against Edward Waters. It was a 4-8 defeat back in Albany, but now they're ready to go as regional play kicks off. Rector will lead off for Tuskegee. She'll be followed by Chadwick, Harrison, Mitchell, Clark, Thompson, Strange, Roldan, and Paredes. In the circle in the bottom of the first will be Hampton. Meanwhile, for the Spartans, Mary Beth Feldman gets the call to start the opener of the regional. Feldman has worked a lot for the Spartans this season, starting in all 15 of her appearances, and has went the distance 5 times. A weaker season than last year when she put up one of the stronger Spartans pitching seasons of all time among the leaderboards in ERA, but still remains a dominant threat from the circle this year. A 2.32 ERA, 49 strikeouts, 23 walks, not the greatest strikeout-to-walk ratio, but gives up slightly less hits in comparison. She likes to pitch around a little bit more. She's quickly gone ahead 0-2 against Rector. Rector enters the tournament as one of the best hitters for Tuskegee, and a complete 500 on the season, 54 for 108. And Rector also has recorded 28 stolen bases this year. The 0-2. Swung on and miss. And Feldman will open the game with a strikeout. Last season, Feldman transferred from Utah to Tampa and immediately made a mark, including a regular season perfect game. It wasn't one in standard fashion. In fact, Lily Keister, who's out in center field for the Spartans, had to deliver the walk-off in the bottom of the 7th. Still, Feldman remains a dominant force, and while this pitch will miss for ball 1, it'll be tough for Chadwick to beat her in this AB. Chadwick fouls it back. It is 1-1. For the season, Chadwick is hitting .342 with 21 RBIs. 10 walks to 11 strikeouts with an impressive .436 on-base percentage. That's one of the better differences in base percentage to average, showing that while Chadwick isn't always putting the ball in play to get hits, she can get on when the team needs her to do so the most. She's now down 1-2 for Feldman. This one blooped over to right field, and it's caught a running catch by Mariah Galehouse. 2 away. Galehouse will certainly get a start or 2 later in the tournament. However, Tampa electing to go with another pitcher to open here. And I think the reason is pretty simple. If Tampa loses, they'll be playing in a consolation game later today or tomorrow. And they would like to keep McGinnis or Galehouse fully ready. Now, of course, they can always bring them in later in the game to the circle. Tampa's done this a few times when there's been a little trouble. There's a reason Galehouse has recorded a few saves this season. Count goes 1-1 here against Harrison, who is another outright hitting leader for Tuskegee. However, there is a drop-off from the top 3 hitters of Mitchell, Rector, and Chadwick. Harrison's hitting .228 alongside 10 RBIs and 1 home run. Notably, Harrison's also had 9 sacrifice hits this season. And this one goes foul off the netting. 2-2. Just misses up high, and the count will go full. On deck is Mitchell. The freshman's the best hitter for the Golden Tigers. This one popped over and is going to remain foul. Weininger and Chevalier both ready, but actually, sorry, not. Cameron is playing over at second base. It's Watson behind home plate and Chevalier over at third. Driven to center field, has some power. Keister tracking back, and he'll get it at the warning track. A 1-2-3 inning for Mary Beth Feldman. And Tuskegee will take defense. Fantone, Keister, and Galehouse lead off for the Spartans. You're watching regional softball, and we'll be right back.
I pledge.
Taking the circle for Tuskegee is going to be their ace, Camia Hampton. 21 games started, 26 appearances in total, a .271 ERA with 140 strikeouts over 139 innings. I wouldn't be surprised if Hampton pitched throughout the entire tournament. And certainly it'll be the start of a tough weekend for Tuskegee. They'll have to make some magic happen. But it's tournament time. Anything can happen. And Hampton will have to face off against Fantone to start out from the circle. Fantone leads off for the Spartans, and here's the first pitch. Strike one taken, some good heat there. Keister batting second, Galehouse batting third, Weininger batting fourth, Perkins batting fifth, Chevalier batting sixth, Watson seventh, DeSimone eighth, and Balmer in ninth. It's the standard lineup for the Spartans with one or two small changes, notably the absence of Alexa Russo. Grounded over to short. Paredes makes the play. The throw was almost a little low, but Thompson's there for the first out. Lily Keister steps up to the plate. Keister this season hitting .358 alongside 19 RBIs. She's also recorded 2 triples and 3 doubles. Keister a perfect 6-0 on stolen bases. The second best stolen base percentage on the team, behind the 100 that's held by Galehouse, and her 13 stolen bases this season. 0-1 for Keister. Hampton finding the zone early. Keister was looking for a bunt potentially, but pulls back. Chadwick, Thompson, and Roldan were all moving on the play, ready to take up their positions. Enfield playing a little more shallow now. Here's the 1-1. Keister takes for strike 2, just on the outside corner. By the way, Richard Cintron's behind home plate. Alan Friedman's over at first base. And over at third base is Eric Salgado. 3-man umpire crew for tournament play. The regular season we normally saw 2. 2-2 now as Keister holds back. Keister with a little run-up on the motion for the swing. The off-speed, not bad, but just missing high. And the count will go full with Galehouse on deck. Certainly not the batter you'd like to walk in this spot. But indeed, it will be a walk. Good discipline by Keister to work from a 1-2 count to a walk. And that's going to bring up Mariah Galehouse. Slowed down at the end of the regular season behind the plate, but still had a great season overall, hitting .323, 1 point under the team average, but second with 37 RBIs. That also puts her somewhat up in the record books, not breaking it, but overall another great season. Galehouse has especially succeeded from the circle with a 1.25 ERA, a true Shohei Ohtani for this Spartans side. Count goes 1-1. As Hampton is able to locate the zone after pitching 4 straight balls. Keister staying put on first, but again, she is a base-stealing threat. Could see her moving. They'll elect to keep her there for now. 2-1 to Galehouse. Galehouse has some great protection behind her, and Weininger, who's been honestly one of the best Spartan hitters of all time. I'll talk about her accolades in just a minute. Galehouse up 3-1 here. Ball 4. And Galehouse will take a base. 2 straight walks from Hampton. And Weininger will step up now. Weininger set the all-time record for OPS with one of the best on-base percentages and the best slugging percentage in the regular season at .718 so far in this 2023 campaign. Also became the first Spartan with more than 40 runs batted in a season at directly 40 even. Could be getting her 41st of the combined season here, although I believe postseason play aren't inputted into the record books. 1-1. One and two, just on that inside corner. Hampton's liked the left side of the plate. From the Spartans' perspective. Fouled away, the count stays 1-2. Weininger down in the count. And we'll chop this one over to first. And safe. Beat out the throw as Thompson tried to flip it to Roldan, but Roldan wasn't there in time. Looked to be a broken play for a second, and should certainly have been out number 2, but good job on the base paths by Cameron to get there safely. I'll bring up Avery Perkins. Perkins takes strike 1. It was low, but inside. Swung on and missed. I think it was more of an off-speed pitch that time. And now Perkins is down 0-2. Did she go? No, ball 1. Every out is a force out. So anything on the ground, Spartans will certainly be running. Keister on third, Galehouse second, Weininger on first. Grounded over to third. There's the force out at home. Two away. No throw from Mitchell back to first. Perkins will stay at first now. Here's Lexi Chevalier. Takes outside for ball one. Now the good news, if you're Chevalier, you know that eventually in the count, Hampton has to pitch to you because you don't want to walk in with the bases loaded. And getting ahead in the count is going to be really beneficial for her. Grounded to third, and oh, it slips by her glove. The throw-in from left field, not in time. And Chevalier drives 2 runs home. And it's a 2-0 Spartans lead. Chadwick was looked to be ready to make the play, but just gets past her glove. And that's going to go all the way from left field. Strange Lindy eventually got the throw in. And it was on target, so there wasn't a chance for that third run to score. But it wasn't enough to get Weininger out at the plate. Perkins at third, Chevalier at second. Here's Carolyn Watson. Watson a drive to right field. Tracking back is Rector, but she'll make the catch to end the inning. 2 hits, 2 runs, 2 left aboard, and the Spartans take an early lead here in the South Regional in the opening game of the regional tournament. We'll be right back with more Tampa softball. So we're back, top of the second. Spartans lead 2-0. Mitchell, Clark, and Thompson due up for Tuskegee. Let's quickly paint a picture of the Spartans' defense for today's game. The third base player is Lexi Chevalier. Shortstop, Stephanie Ballmer. Second base player, Cameron Weininger. And KG Simone is the first base player. Fantone is out in left field. Keister in center field. Galehouse in right field. Watson forms the battery alongside Fellman from the circle, who's going to get strike one here against Mitchell. Mitchell hitting .505 this season with 13 doubles. That's leading the team. 26 RBIs. That's leading the team. Also is second in slugging by a single point. Rector is .685. Mitchell has .684. Mitchell also trails Rector in on-base percentage, .546 to .539. And if you're not a softball expert, well, those are 2 very good numbers, meaning they get on base nearly 60% of the time. Misses inside for ball 2. Mitchell may be a switch hitter, or the stats page could just be wrong in saying that Mitchell is a righty, as she's very clearly batting from the left batter's box. 2-2 now. This one driven to center field. Keister tracking back and will make a running catch. One away. That'll bring up Caroline Clark now with one away. The Spartans field is certainly known for not allowing home runs. In fact, last season, because of NCAA rules, they had to bring in a false wall for Spartans field to match the official dimensions of play. But this year, Spartans are able to use their standard dimensions. Taken low for ball 2. It's possible to hit it over the wall. Weininger and Russo have both done it over the past couple seasons, but no visiting team has had a home run against the Spartans in quite some time. Clark now gets 2-1 in the count, as Feldman missed the zone the first few times. Fouled away. Tampa is on a 5-game win streak, but their previous loss was actually their first home loss of the season. They've been incredibly dominant here at Namoli Family Stadium. Their only loss coming that recent game against St. Leo. 10-inning showdown that ended 2-1 in favor of the Lions. It was their first home loss since almost 12 months ago, and their season was ended by Valdosta State in last season's South Regional. Tampa was the 2 seed. The Blazers were the 3 seed. Swung on and missed. Another strikeout for Mary Beth Feldman. 2 away. But I'll say it's interesting here to see Cantor's decision for Chevalier at third and Watson to start behind the plate. Chevalier made a few appearances over at third base late in the season and has done a good job there. One of her biggest traits has been a very cannon arm developed, I think, from working behind home plate to get would-be base runners out at first. Thompson down 0-1. Hitting just above the Mendoza line, as it's called. 203 on her average. With a 266 slugging, 282 on base percentage. Has 6 RBIs. Misses low for ball 1. Feldman would certainly not mind another strikeout here en route to a 1-2-3 inning. Although it looks like Thompson's going for a bunt. Holds up, 2-2. Could also be maybe a psychological play, similar to how players will sometimes bunt dance in MLB The Show, try to throw their opponent off. Swung on and missed. Feldman, 3 strikeouts in 2 innings, and she has been great so far. Another solid outing on the circle, and Tampa will hold on to a 2-0 lead entering the bottom of the second. Due up is the 8-9-1 hitters. DeSimone leads off here against Hampton. Hampton had a shaky first inning, 2 walks, and a run would ultimately come home on 2 hits. In fact, it was more than just 1 run. The Spartans took a 2-0 lead and are looking to keep the bats moving. Count goes 1-0 for DeSimone. Two-way players had a couple appearances from the bullpen, including 4 games started. DeSimone has also been at the plate and done quite well, 276 with 10 RBIs. Has yet to have a triple or home run this season. Last year had an inside the park home run. One and one. Misses with the riser there. A pitch like that, you're hoping the batter is thinking it's going to drop into the zone and gets a big swing and a miss, or panics thinking it's a fastball. Rounded over to second. Not fielded cleanly, but great recovery by Roldan to get the first out of the inning. Took a little weird bounce. But the good news is for Roldan, she kept it right with her and had time to get the throw to Thompson. That'll bring up Steph Ballmer. Ballmer hitting .329 this season, just 5 points above the team average. Looked for a bunt, but pulled away for ball 1. Ballmer notably has a home run, a triple, and 6 doubles, slugging at a .463 rate this season. Chopped foul and backward. One and one to the Spartan shortstop. Swung on and missed. 1 and 2. Hampton looking for her first strikeout today. This time went off speed with the screwball. Misses for ball 2. And you can tell with the movement to the left-handed batter's box towards the pitcher's right arm. Chopped over to short. Picked up by Paredes. Out by a step. Good run there from Ballmer, but good play on defense to get the out. Paredes had a range forward for it. Made the quick grab. Here comes the 0-for-1 Fantone. Looking to get to work here. Strike 1. Count goes 1 and 1. This one missing low. And this one lined to center field, but caught by Harrison. Didn't have to go far to make that catch. And it's a 1-2-3 inning in the circle for Hampton. Tampa still leads 2-0 as we enter the top of the third. A quick little huddle on the circle for the Spartans as Feldman gets ready to get back to work. 7, 8, 9 due up for Tuskegee. Spartans lead 2-0. Still plenty of time in the ball game. And of course, the South Regional is a double elimination tournament. The losing team will be playing later today, a chance to keep their season alive. Ball one just missing outside. Swung on and missed for strike one. Actually, I think I'm wrong. I believe it is only the 2 opening games today. Yes, I'm right, actually. The 2 opening games. The losers bracket will open at 3 p.m. tomorrow, as this one's flown to center field and caught for out number 1. At noon tomorrow, it's the winner of Game 1 versus the winner of Game 2. One away here as the first pitch is going to be taken for strike one. Roldan fouls this one away. It's 0-2. By the way, Spartans fans, at 11 a.m. tomorrow, women's lacrosse opens against Rollins as regional play begins at the Namoli Family Intramural Complex, just on the other side of campus. Just misses outside. Not a bad pitch. Watson maybe trying to frame and help a little bit, but couldn't get the call. It's 1-2. Roldan staying alive. Popped up. Playable in foul territory. DeSimone can't get to it, and it drops. Weininger and Galehouse were both following. Weininger started over at third base this season, but shifted over to the second base player later on, and it's been a change that I think's helped her. We saw Russo and, well, recently Chevalier play over at third too, and the duo have done a good job. In fact, you've even seen Russo play some shortstop as well. She's been very versatile, and I expect that, barring any injury, she'd be making an appearance later in the tournament. The count goes 2-2 for Roldan. I think Feldman was looking for strikeout number 4 on the game there. Won't get it here, but it's a very shallow pop-up. Weininger makes the catch, 2 away. That'll bring up the junior, Paredes. First pitch from Feldman, up high for ball one. Yeah, beautiful Thursday afternoon here in Tampa. 12:32 p.m., still pretty early. Swung on and missed, it's 1-1. Taking a look at the stats this season, Paredes hitting .191 this year. Definitely a little more defensive contributions than offensive contributions. Saw Paredes make a great play at short not too long ago. Strike 2, this one taken up high and in the zone. Swung on and missed. Feldman, 4 strikeouts in the first 3 innings. A great job from the circle. And Spartans hold on to their 2-0 lead and have a chance to expand it in the bottom of the third. We'll be back with more Tampa softball right after this.
Being a champion takes more than talent, more than the perfect pass, more than using your head. Being a champion takes the spirit to always push harder, the ability to overcome any hurdle, and the fire to be the best. Welcome to Division II, where the pursuit is yours to create. And the question isn't, can you do it? it's will you.
Being a champion takes more than skill, more than endless drills, more than using your head. Being a champion takes the heart to give it your all, the agility to thrive from any angle, and the relentless drive to be the best. Welcome to Division 2, where the pursuit is yours to create, and the question isn't, can you do it? It's will you.
Tampa leads here in the opening game of the 2023 South Regional for softball. One team will get a ticket to the Super Regional with a chance of moving on a little further in the tournament. I'm Taylor Storley, and leading off for the Spartans is Keister. She'll be followed by Gilhouse and Weininger. St. Leo, Nova Southeastern, West Alabama, and Auburn Montgomery are in the other half of the tournament. They're over at St. Leo's campus. Misses the bunt for strike one. And I'll say, just some news there. An upset as Auburn Montgomery strike late in the 6th and 7th innings to take a 6-2 victory, putting the Lions down with their first loss. Now, of course, it is double elimination. But an opening loss isn't always a great sign for a top team like St. Leo. One-two for Keister, who drew a walk back in the first. Just misses, and that might be disappointing, I think, for Tuskegee. Looked like a good pitch, but we won't argue with City Hall here. 2-2. Misses outside for ball three. I think Hampton was hoping for a swing from Keister, but couldn't get it. And ball four. Keister with a second walk of the game. Once again working from a 1-2 count to a walk. Gilhouse was walked in her first plate appearance and has a chance here to strike. Gilhouse was one of the 2 runs scored by the Spartans back in the first alongside Keister. Or actually, no, not alongside Keister. She was with Weininger, as Keister was out on a fielder's choice late in the inning. But no outs here, and I think Cantor might be trying some small ball here, looking to bunt with Gilhouse. At the very least, that's what Tuskegee are planning. Thompson playing up. And this one fouled back. It's 1-1. Hampton now 46 pitches on the game. Imagine win or lose, she'll be back in the circle for Tuskegee tomorrow. Lined and ooh, hits right off Hampton, and Gilhouse will be safe. Keister will be safe. And the question will be if she's feeling okay. That is obviously scary to have a comebacker right to the circle. Certainly when it bounces off the thigh area, that is a delicate spot. Although you do have to say it is lucky that it didn't hit something like the face or the upper body. Mary Beth Feldman last season was hit by a line drive that came back to the circle and had to exit the game. The great news and applause here from the fans as Hampton looks ready to go. Just needed to walk it off for a second. great perseverance for her, and she'll get a warm-up pitch or two to see how good she's feeling. Obviously, the legs are also an important part of a wind-up, so have to make sure she's feeling A-okay. In fact, comeback line drives to the circle is a reason that Fellman wears a mask in the circle while pitching. And it's a really good idea. If I was pitching, I'd probably elect to do the same thing. Although, for me, I'd probably be pitching for baseball, and I'm not sure if the regulations allow it. I'd have to double check that. Anyway, 2 aboard now for Cameron Weininger. Got a single last time on a chopped grounder over to first. But indeed, 718 slugging percentage. Weininger set the Spartans record this season. The transfer from Memphis has done a great job. That one, I think, a 40-foot pitch there as it just rolls in the dirt. One and one. Taken outside for ball 2. I'll say the Spartans would like to score these 2 more runs here, give themselves an extra little buffer. This one lined and caught at second, and they will not make the double play. In fact, a throw from Roldan will be an error, and it stayed in place so Keister couldn't score on it. Or did it? No, it did go out of play. Tampa takes a 3-0 lead. So that is the most awkward RBI you'll ever score if you're Weininger. It was a little pop line drive. I'm not sure what you call it, just not hard hit over to Roldan, who makes a nice little diving grab. Galehouse was caught off guard, and while it looked like she was out by a mile, Roldan's throw just goes high and into the Tuskegee dugout. It's for that reason that both runners advanced 2 bases. Keister going from second to home. That'll be an unearned run for Hampton. 3-0 Spartan lead. So with 1 out now, puts also another sacrifice in position potentially for Perkins. As Perkins is going to go up 3-0, we might see Hampton walk this batter and just put a runner on first. This is the type of position where you don't mind a walk as much. Obviously, 4 walks in a game with no strikeouts shows maybe the control is imperfect. But in this situation, you are setting up a double play ball, which can be beneficial. Normally a grounder to short. If Galehouse running, she'd probably make it home. Chopped over to short. Paredes took a look back over to third to make sure Galehouse didn't move, and there was not enough time to beat Perkins at first. Nice little chopped single, and Chevalier steps up. Chevalier had an RBI last time. In fact, 2 of them on a hit that got right by Chadwick over at third. Double play ball is open here. And, in fact, went for a bunt. Interesting call there by Chevalier. And as she takes ball 1, Perkins steals second. There was not enough time for Mitchell to make the throw, and obviously you have the threat of Galehouse working the double steal, running straight home. Chevalier takes inside for ball 2. (3 p.m. or a few minutes after the first game ends, you can catch the second game of the day here for the South Regional. Mississippi College against Alabama Huntsville. It'll be live here on Tampa Spartans TV. 2-1. And, well, that one's going to miss inside. The good news for Chevalier is that at that slow speed, probably doesn't hurt that much. She'll take the base, and the bases are now loaded for Carolyn Watson. And I'll say that Watson, while not the greatest in terms of average this season, has hit for power. Brought home 7 RBIs on 44 at-bats, including a double, and has a big chance here. The base is full. Double play opportunity and out at home are, of course, active, as Hampton misses the plate. 1-0. Hasn't been perfect on command today, but also, of course, took that shot to her leg, and that could get in the way of her delivery. Good grab by Roldan. They get 1. They won't get 2. It's a sacrifice, well, technical sacrifice if you put it in quotation marks. A fielder's choice RBI for Watson, and the Spartans now lead 4-0. Galehouse scores. Chevalier's out, but Watson's safe. That'll bring up Kate DeSimone now with 2 aboard. Force out at second, force out at first. Ball 1 inside. Misses up high. I was quickly taking a look at series history on Tampa's website, but there actually was a website error, so I can't give you the series history between Tuskegee and Tampa, which is a little unfortunate. DeSimone, a pop-up. Will this land? And no players land. Yes, it will. A 5th run scores for the Spartans. Paredes tracked back. Harrison and Stranger coming in, but no one was there to get it. That's going to be a little disappointing for Tuskegee, and the Spartans are up by 5. 5 runs on 5 hits. I think not all the runs should be earned for Hampton. Of course, an error brought a run home not too long ago. But the stats currently read that all 4 were. And this time, it's come up by Paredes on a little chopper from Ballmer to end the inning. 3 runs come home for the Spartans on 3 hits. 1 error, and 2 actually, left the board. Top of the 4th coming up, and Tuskegee will be batting with their... And we're back. 4 strikeouts in 3 innings for Feldman. Only 43 pitches so far. It's looked pretty good. And by the way, just a note about the previous inning. All 5 runs are, of course, earned for Hampton. The reason being, even though, from our point of view, you could have assumed a double play would be made, you can't assume that on the stat sheet on that little line drive. Galehouse looked to certainly be out by a mile. It was going to be a good heads-up play there by Roldan, but the throw just off target, that's where the error came from. The error would have had to come off a potential hit for any unearned run to come into play. Rector leads off and swings and misses for strike 1. Rector swung out swinging back in the first inning. But Tuskegee, to really try to get back into this game, they need to string together some hits. And a bunt is not a bad way to do it, especially if you've got Rector's speed on the base paths. But that one could have been dangerous. Chevalier was tracking it and almost got to it in foul territory. Grounded over to first, and DeSimone has to pick it up after it bounces a little roughly on the ground to get the first out of the inning. That'll bring up Chadwick. Lined, and that'll be a base hit. First one of the ball game for Tuskegee. And certainly in this stage, you were thinking whether Feldman could go the distance in terms of maybe a no-no. She's done it before, and in fact, earlier in the season, the Spartans had, I think, what you could call a perfect game that got interrupted by the run-ahead rule. But obviously, Chadwick did not want that to happen here in the tournament, as this bunt is fouled back for strike 1. That hit might be what Tuskegee needs to get the offense moving. It's a nice little sharp grounder that evaded Ballmer, and we saw Feldman in the circle go, "Ah, shucks." Grounded over to Weininger. They get the force out, and 2 away now. Although the runner reaches first safely, there was not going to be enough time for Ballmer to make that throw. They were trying to advance the runner. It did not work the way they wanted to. That'll bring up Mitchell. Marissa Mitchell, the strongest hitter on the team for Tuskegee, hitting over 500 this season. Flew out back in the second. Takes strike one. Chopped up the middle, and Ballmer gets the throw to first. She actually had the force out at second, but elected to make the throw. And it's 6-3 to end the inning. So another quick inning for Feldman. 1 hit is all Tuskegee gets, and that runner is stranded. We'll be back with more Spartan softball, and you're watching the NCAA South Regional Tournament on Tampa Spartans TV. Played 3.5. Tuskegee ready to go here in the bottom of the fourth. They were able to get a hit on offense, but haven't been hitting the right notes on defense. A couple tough plays, including an error, helped the Spartans have a huge bottom of the third inning, and they're hoping to avoid the same fate here. 1-2-3 due up for the Spartans. Fantone ready for her third at bat, looking to get on base for the first time today. Strike one taken. Fantone scored the most runs in Spartans history with 47 this season. Misses for ball one. Misses outside for ball two. Check swing, one around for strike two. The 2-2 for Fantone. And just misses the off-speed pitch on that outside corner. When you possess a screwball like that in your arsenal, it is generally better against left-handed hitters. And Fantone fouls this one away. Count stays full. And ball four. Fantone gets aboard. Spartans might be able to get a little more offense going here. And the bunt goes backwards. Strike one. Runner goes, and there won't be a throw that's anywhere in time from Mitchell. Fantone steals second. Count goes 1-1 as well. Two and one. Two and now. And Keister gets the bunt down. Throw in time. She is out. It's a very close play at first, but Keister just a step behind. That'll bring up Galehouse with one away and a runner on third. And Cantor not super happy about the call. Wants to talk it over with Friedman. And they're going to go talk it over really quickly. The friend Bruce says you can't argue with City Hall, but can say, hey, mind talking it over? Well, that talk was pretty short. And that is out number one. Very close play, though, so I don't blame Cantor for wanting it checked. If it went the other way, you'd probably see Tuskegee appealing for the same thing. They'd probably want to say that Keister was out by that half step. And Galehouse will take a very hard fastball up and inside. That is sarcasm. That was a very slow rising pitch that just missed the zone. Runners at the corners with one away. And Galehouse will reach base again. She's done so in all three of her at-bats now. Weininger has only gotten on base once. Her line drive out last time was actually still an out. And although there was an error on the plate, it was after the line drive was caught. Tried to pull for a bunt, and Mitchell fakes a throw over to first. 0-1. So even though Galehouse stole second and eliminated the double play possibility, the big positive for Tuskegee is that they did get ahead in the count. And they will stay ahead as Weininger went around on the inside pitch. Cantor with some words of encouragement for Weininger. Misses outside for ball one. Misses low for ball two. Tried to work the changeup there. Pretty hard thrown changeup. Fast changeups are always tricky to differentiate when it comes to that vertical break from a normal fastball. Weininger flies this over to right, and that one is going to drop into the gap. 2 runs will score. Weininger's going to round it to third with a triple. That was a hit that almost left the park, and it's now a 7-0 Spartans lead. There'll be a quick conference in the circle for the Tuskegee team, and there is going to be someone, I think, stretching and tossing over in their bullpen. And there actually will be a change, it looks like, as Tuskegee are going to make the call. For Hampton, it's 7 earned, and 3 1/3, 4 walks and 6 hits. Wasn't able to get a strikeout. Anaya Carter enters the game, 5.59 ERA, 62 innings pitched, and 23 strikeouts. We'll take a quick breather as Carter gets warmed up in the circle. You're watching NCAA South Regional Softball, and we'll be right back.
Being a champion takes more than
And we're back. Tuskegee make the change. Anaya Carter will be in the circle now. Second best pitcher on a 3-player rotation for Tuskegee. And here's Perkins. Takes strike one. Taken for ball one. Swung on and missed. It's 1-2. The 1-2 now for Perkins. Perkins line drive. That is going to be the 8th run for the Spartans. Yep, and Perkins is safe as this throw will almost get away, but stays on the base path, so she can't get to third. That'll bring up Lexi Chevalier. The Spartans really have jumped off to the early lead here and are within chasing distance of potentially the run-ahead rule. That run is the 8th earned by Hampton and the last one that she can earn today. And by the way, Hammond is going to come on as a pinch hitter for Chevalier. Or no, as a pinch runner for Perkins. Chevalier flies over to left field, tagging up and heading to third. The throw is off target, and it's going to bounce all the way back to Mitchell. 2 away. Hammonds is safe. Good positioning there by the Golden Tigers. They were on top of it to make sure that that 9th run couldn't come home. Because if they weren't in position, that rolls all the way back behind home plate. There is a chance for Hammonds to get up and keep running. Here comes Watson at the plate. No change there. Here's the 1-0. Inside for strike one. Watson is 0 for 2 today. Got on board with a fielder's choice that brought home a run last time. So 0 for 2, but with an RBI. Watson fouls it away. It is 1-2 now. Well, that swing just got the outside edge of the bat. It looks like it did ricochet off Mitchell in an awkward way. The good news is Mitchell looks all right. Foul balls like that can be a danger behind home plate, not just for the catcher, but also for the umpire. But in this case, it did go off of Mitchell, it looked like. 2-2, missing up high. Popped up and caught over at first. We've played 4, and the Spartans hold on to an 8-0 lead. We'll be back with more South Regional softball right after this.
I pledged.
And we're just about ready to go here in the top of the 5th. Spartans hanging on to a pretty comfortable lead at the moment. They were able to score in the previous innings, but they haven't conceded any yet. Tuskegee are hoping to get on the board here. They've got their 5, 6, and 7 hitters due up. They're each 0 for 1. Feldman great from the circle, 4 strikeouts, 1 hit allowed, and 4 innings with 51 pitches. While the Spartan side is certainly going to be known for their offense this year, they've been very good in defense with a 1.33 team ERA through 284 innings, 210 strikeouts to 47 walks. As a hitting side, they've only had 133 strikeouts and have gone on board with 120 walks. Opponents' ERA against them has been 5.12. And just misses the off-speed there. The count goes 1-1. That's been a pitch that neither team has really found a lot of strikes of today, though. Those low strikes have come few and far between. Clark struck out back in the second inning. And we'll now get ahead 2-1. Swung on and missed. It's 2-2. Thompson on deck. Thompson, I have to say, is quite smart for electing to wear her jersey like a tank top. These summer days in Florida are quite hot, especially when you're wearing a black jersey, as Clark is going to go down looking. So I have to say, if I was out there, wearing a tank top is a very good idea. I'm also someone whose skin definitely burns up in the sun a little bit, so I'd probably need a little extra sunscreen, but small price to stay a little bit cooler out here. I think the temperature isn't too bad today. I'll double check on AccuWeather as swinging strike from Thompson. See what that real feel is. Real feel is 108. Oh my goodness. I've never seen a 20 differential with that. I'd have to take a feel outside to see if it is truly that hot. It's certainly going to be more dry heat than humid. I'm not fully sure. All I know is in the current softball booth that we're broadcasting from, it actually is quite cool. 0-2. Misses outside. Taking a look at the radar, taking a look at the hourly. People in the booth might not be happy to hear me say this word, but there could be some inclement weather later on. However, that may come later after the games. All depends when Game 2 starts. I believe it's slated at 3 p.m., but there could be starting sooner if this game ends early. 1-2 to Thompson. Swings and misses. Thompson's second strikeout of the game. Feldman now has 6. I'll say this is great for Feldman. She didn't have the greatest postseason last year, but has really started off strong. real feel sun is 108 degrees, though. I'll double check to see how it feels outside here. As strike one is taken by Strange. Strange Lindley flew out to start the third inning. Off-speed fools her. It's 0-2 now. A chance for Feldman to strike out the side here. Wouldn't be immaculate. There were a few balls. Fouled away. Oh, and 2. Popped up. Watson looking and makes the catch. A 1-2-3 inning for Feldman from the circle. And with that, it's the run-ahead rule. 4.5 is all the Spartans needed to take an 8-0 win, and they will advance to the winners match tomorrow at noon. Make sure you tune in. They're going to face the winner of Mississippi College and Alabama Huntsville. The tournament isn't over for Tuskegee. They'll be playing at 3 p.m. tomorrow against the loser of Game 2. That is going to be coming later today. We'll give you a better word. Check social media for when that next game starts, but thanks for tuning in to Game 1. Tampa is able to take a strong start to their tournament. A one-hitter for Feldman with 6 strikeouts. Tampa's offense was on fire. The loss, however, will be going to Hampton. 3 1/3. Not the greatest outing. But with that, the Spartans take their first victory of this half of the South Regional. I'm Taylor Storey, and we'll see you later this afternoon for more regional softball. And we'll also see you tomorrow if you're a Tuskegee or Tampa fan that will be missing that afternoon game. Thanks again, and have a great day. Thanks for tuning in to Sunshine State Conference Softball. The regional tournament will be back later today.